the influences. It's my ambition, also envision my path so I complete the mission. Yeah, I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, I'll say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. Yes.
Welcome to the last sip. Y'all, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. Had some things going on. As you can see, I was fixing some things up when you caught me coming into the camera. It's been a rough day. And so, hey, I'm here. I'm in front of you. Got some things going on. I got a special podcast today. I got a special guest by the name of Mayra Diaz. So you guys give applause to her. It's going to be a good one. Y'all, it's been a rough one, man. Been a rough one. Today in general, man, I was going to say, you know how I get down. I do not spill tea, but I keep a kettle that boils over, so I will take the last sip. With that being said, I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. Today is a special autism episode. So this is when I take time to talk about some stories. We're going to talk about some stories dealing with autism, autistic kids, a couple of stories that are shocking and that are in the airwaves right now. And at this moment, I'm going to introduce you to a young lady who is a parent of an autistic child by the name of Mayra Diaz. Mayra, give him a hello.
Hello, everyone.
Let's give Mayra applause. You guys know we're doing the last sip. Give her applause.
Thank you.
And we give her a cheer. Well,
Thank you.
Well, Mayra, before I get started, I always like to give a shout out because I don't have any sponsors. So I do have a shout out sponsor. Today's shout out is going to be to Building Bridges. Building Bridges is a school built around disabled children and disabled adults. Building Bridges specializes in occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy. If you have a child or a young adult that's in the grade level ages of pre-K, kindergarten, all the way up to high school, give Building Bridges a call. We have a location here in Cabot, Arkansas. We have one in Lone Oak. Give them a call. They specialize in work with children. If you know me how I am, I'm so serious about making sure that everyone in that building knows what they're doing. At Building Bridges, everyone is qualified to work with autistic children, disabled children, nonverbal children. So give them a call. That is Building Bridges in Arkansas, Cabot, Arkansas. Thank you. Well, today my guest Mayra is here. Mayra, before I get started, I'm going to give you a little space here. I want you to introduce yourself and tell them who you are, what it is that you do as far as helping special need, specifically autistic children, and why you have such a love for fulfilling that need to help those that are special.
Sure. My name is Mayra Diaz, like you said. I'm a mom of three, typical mom. My youngest son, Jalen, he's autistic. I pretty much just try to advocate as much as I can. I recently became a board member for the Arkansas Autism Foundation. I've done interviews for like a book and a magazine, and I just try to participate in, autism related events as much as I can. I'm pretty much, I guess I can say that I try to be my son's voice since he is nonverbal.
That's awesome. That is good. I'm so glad that you are one of the parents that are here fighting for autistic children. It is awesome that you do that because right now that is one of the issues we have. We have a lot of people who don't seem to understand that it is such a thing right now that is affecting a lot of parents.
Right.
They have kids with autism, and there are people out here that don't know how to help. They don't know how to get involved. And that's one of the biggest issues that we have anyway in society is being involved in your child's education. But when you're an autistic parent or a parent with a kid with special needs, it takes more love and more time and more effort for you to get involved to help them, because sometimes you could be that one key cog that bridges the teacher, the school, and the child to have them receive success in growing up in the educational system as well. So I want to do today, once again, let's give an applause for Myra.
Thank you.
Okay, Myra, what we'll do today is we're going to go over a couple of stories. Now, if you ever watch my podcast, I go over some news stories a lot of people don't get a chance to hear of because sometimes the stories get buried or we have so much rhetoric and garbage on social media that these stories just seem to pass you by. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus our stories today, just a special episode, on some cases that I've noticed that happened to some autistic children. The first case we're going to speak about is something that happened in September 2023 in Dayton, Ohio. And y'all know how I am. Ohio, again, this is like every time I come before you, I got something going on with Ohio. I don't know what's going on with that state. We're not going to comment on it too much, but everybody in that state need to catch one of these. Yeah, real serious. Need to catch a smack. But in Dayton, Ohio, there's a teacher aide who struck a nonverbal child. What happened was the parents of the child received a phone call from the school saying that there was something wrong with their child. Well, of course, being a parent, you're going to be inquisitive. It's like, what's going on with my kid? Well, after further research, they found out they had video footage of the teacher's aide, and she was supposed to be actual teacher, but teacher's aide. The kid was running away from her. She ran the child down, slapped him in the side of the head, and he hit his head on the ground. After he hit his head on the ground, she took him upside down and carried him back to the classroom by his legs. Yeah, I had to hit the what on that because that is very sickening. The parents at the time were highly upset, and they went ahead and their situation is very taunted because they spoke on it, and what they spoke on, which was so amazing to me, was the fact that they issued a statement saying that they think anyone that works in the school system, especially with special needs children or autistic children, they should be able to receive some type of training, and that training should be something that pertains to them learning more about how to handle autistic children. This child was nonverbal, so the child cannot yell, cannot scream. If you know anything about me, I have a granddaughter who has a fraction of being nonverbal. She just started speaking. She does a lot of clapping, tiptoe walking. And it's like, this is something that's very serious, especially in our school district. You have got to be able to help these children, especially the nonverbal ones. It's like, if they can't speak, they can't tell you something's wrong. But it was the fact that these parents had enough get up and go, had enough gumption, had enough go to go to the school and tell them, hey, when you call us about our child, we don't know what's going on. And they investigate it, because a lot of parents will call this single out incident and just let it go. But for the fact that this happened, and this video footage is actually up. I'm going to post a lot of these videos in my feeds if you guys get a chance to after I'm done. If you've seen this, it is horrendous. It is horrendous. The way this child got smacked down to the ground. Now, Myra, I sent you that video. Did you get a chance to look at that?
Yes, I did. I didn't even have any words after I watched it. You know, that could have ended horribly. You know, his head, like, it hit really hard. And in my opinion, working with special needs children, it's not for everyone. You know, I'm not saying that if it's a bad thing. They need special training for that, and a lot of patience as well.
And I agree, and that's the thing. That was a great statement you made. I agree with that. I am so the one for believing in. Put it this way, I was told by Miss Audrey, she's going to be on the show pretty soon again. She was on before talking about autism. She said, if you really want to show what somebody loves or cares about, that's what they invest their time and money in. And I'm not saying they don't care about their kids, because they do. But there is a big thing, there's a big stigma on schools, especially with our special needs children going. A lot of schools do not want to deal with the special needs children. They take them in, but they don't want to deal with them. And see, one thing I speak upon all the time is when you have these schools that classify themselves as strictly special needs schools, they get subsidies for that. A lot of people don't understand that there's government aid for that. You get paid, you get subsidies for that, for claiming or making sure you're notarized as a special needs school. A lot of them just take these teachers and sit them in seats. And they might have therapists that work with the kids or this and that. I'm not knocking that, because every kid in that school might have a different level of special need. So I'm not knocking that. My only thing is, I'm saying that you're going to be working with special need children, especially ones with this high autism level, you have got to have your teachers trained. You've got to have them with some type of understanding of what this child is. The child might have meltdowns. The child might not listen to everything you're saying. You've got to have people in the place, in the seats, to understand how to deal with these children, because it takes patience. And like I said to you before, Mayra, as being parents of a special needs child, we know how stressful it is for us, especially when the child's nonverbal. Imagine being a person who doesn't work or doesn't know that this child has a special need per se. You know, but you don't actually know because you never dealt with this. And they have to deal with that every day. Just think, we're stressed as parents. Think about how they feel as an educator.
Right.
And it's just like, that's something to me that I really think that needs to be really made a priority in state government and city government. That's something I think they need to think about in legislation, instead of taking away from special ed and special needs children, taking the funding and put it elsewhere. Take some of the extra money you have and throw it into this, because remember, these kids are still kids too.
Right.
Okay, we're going to go ahead, Mayra.
I totally agree with that. And another thing, like you said, having a nonverbal child, we have to go like the extra mile. Like for me, for example, whenever I pick up my son from school or daycare, wherever it is, that I'm not there with him, I have made it, sadly, and it's sad to say this, I have made it my job every time that I pick him up to check him, just to make sure that he's okay. He doesn't have any bruises, any scratches or things like that. Just, because he cannot tell me. He cannot tell me like, hey, this happened today, I got hurt or this and that. So I feel like we have to go that extra mile, to ask the teachers as well. Like, hey, I noticed this on my kid. Can you tell me what happened? And so. But I highly agree on the training. You cannot put a person in a room full of, special needs children and expect them what to do.
No, go ahead, Mayra.
Oh, they do need that special training. I highly agree on that. I mean, even, I have seen the stories about with the police officers and all that. I feel like they, going to that extent as well, they should have the training also.
And that is correct, because even today, I mean, after looking at these stories, we have another one, people, for you. But looking at these stories,
right.
I dropped your son and my daughter, my daughter. I call my daughter because I'm grandpa dad. So, right. But they attend the same facility. Now, I won't give any names about the facility. That's something I don't do unless I'm like prepping a facility up. But they go to the same one. And today, even though they have treated my granddaughter nice, today when I went to, after seeing these stories, I went to pick her up today or drop her off. I feel what you're saying. But it's like, you have to be aware. I dropped her off and she was having a meltdown. And when the lady came to grab her, she did the thing where she does that fish thing where she fishes to the ground and doesn't want you to grab her or touch her. So I volunteered to take her to the back, but she said she'd do it herself. Do you know I caught myself watching this lady go down the corridor with my daughter to make sure, to make sure she was okay. And but I've never done that before. Right. With having children before, but it's like, you're correct. It's like with having a nonverbal, because she can't tell me. She went to one school before, a prominent school that works with special need adults. You know what I'm talking about. I won't go there, but I guarantee you know what I'm talking about. I just say the initials, PF.
Yes. Yes.
She went there and she came home one day. We know she had been bitten, and she can't tell she been bitten. So we call, always like, what's going on? Oh, well, a kid bit her. I was like, okay, you guys didn't cause anything. Oh, well, it didn't break the skin. No, but she has marks on her arm. It's like, you could have told me that my child had been assaulted by another child. It's like, that is dangerous, and then you're miles away from me, so I can't go to check on her. So the school she goes to now is across the street from my job. That way, if anything happens, I can go over there. But I get what you're saying. It's like we do have to go the extra mile to check our children and make sure they're fine because a lot of people don't understand having a disabled child is a lot of work. It takes a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
It takes a
I
lot of
mean, having
time.
kids in general is hard, and having a special needs child is, I don't know, like a million times harder. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. You know, I love my son, and I will do anything for him. But yeah, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Well, Myra, remember they don't give us a manual when we get to they don't the children don't come with the like something brand new. I believe
Right.
seriously, all joking aside, I'm gonna laugh on this one. I believe they should give us a manual with every child.
Yeah.
Whenever the child is born, they say, "Sir, ma'am, sir, here's your manual for your brand new, the brand new child smell. Here's the new book for it." But they don't they don't do that. And
Right.
it's like, and even with special needs children, it's like that book wouldn't work. That book would not
Yeah.
work. It's like,
Yeah.
you gotta be careful, like even the disciplining and just different things. So that's why this
Mhm.
case got me so much because this little child. And if you see this child, just the most adorable little young man, just a
Right.
young baby.
He's so small. Yeah.
Yeah. And
He's
when
a
she
baby.
and when she hit him, he literally like his face. I was like, wow. I mean, these type of stories they tear jerk you, but they make you angry at the same time. It's like
Right.
if that was me, it's like you have to be
Oh yeah.
careful. So it's like you like, oh, just yeah. But we're gonna get into the next story. Okay, now usually when I tell these stories, I don't give names of people unless it's someone like I tried to get names of the parents. I might every blue moon just to get some sympathy for pray for the parents. This case, I gave the assailant's name because I think she should be known. Kiera Jones is a bus aide in the Littleton Public School System, which is in Colorado. Now, this bus that she's on is a special needs bus that goes to the school. Now, this school is highly regarded in the community, in this area, highly regarded school. What ended up happening was parents started to notice that their children were coming home with fractured bones and knocked out teeth, multiple bruises, and they couldn't understand what was going on. So they went to the school, had been doing it since March of this year, 2024. They let the school know something was going on. They had 3 cases of this going on. Well, after doing an investigation, they found out that Miss Carrier Jones, who the parents from seeing the video and reading the story, the parents trusted this lady. They actually liked her.
Right.
Um,
Right.
she was literally backhanding, punching, elbowing, slapping these kids against the window, all kind of stuff. And like I said, if you see the video, it will make you sick to your stomach. Matter of fact, when I went
Yeah.
to look at the video, it literally had where you had to verify you were over 18 years old to even watch it. That's how violent her actions were. Now, the thing that's crazy is these parents are suing the school district because they said that the school knew they had been informing the school since March, nothing was done, and these children were getting abused. And another thing was these children, again, were nonverbal. So they couldn't say anything. They couldn't scream, couldn't yell, couldn't say anything. They were nonverbal children. And it was multiple injuries. Now, the weird thing about this situation is this same school district has 3 other cases against it at other schools for the same identical thing. Now, Myra, I'm going to ask you, Myra, as a parent, when you saw that, now this was worse. People don't understand. This was worse than that little boy getting slapped in the hallway. This was a whole lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, as being a parent and watching that video, and then the parents reacting since March, I want to get your input and reaction to what you think. Do you think the school should be held responsible, or you think it should be
Yeah.
just a solo single case against the rider?
Being that it's been more than one case, I would say, the school district. Like there's just something going on. There's something going on for it to happen that many times. It's just crazy.
And then
It's crazy.
in multiple schools. And remember,
Yeah.
and the reason I made sure I said that this school was highly taunted, it was highly recommended. held in high regard is because I want people to know it doesn't matter where you send your children to. It could be a bummy public, it could be one of the bottom barrel public schools, or one of the, matter of fact, this was a private school, a highly regarded private school. So this means people are spending cash and scholarships to send their children here. And you're thinking you're keeping them safe because just keep it real. You send your kids to private school so they don't have to go to public school. We know right now our public school system isn't the best. It isn't the greatest. But there's teachers that still care. So you think sending your child to a private school, it'll be a little bit, you're like, okay, it's highly regarded. It's a private school. I'm going to send little Jimmy here. And to come and find out little Jimmy's getting beat up by the bus rider. And the thing was, this was not a small little lady neither. I mean, and she was really giving it to these kids. And it's the kind of situation that's like, you're like, wow. It makes you feel like my kids are not safe. I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago about 3 places you think you're safe at, and you're not. I did one about the grocery store, the lady that killed the little 3-year-old boy, unalived the 3-year-old boy. I did the one about the home, about the dog with the baby, and I did one about was it the school? I'm not sure. Yes, with the crossing guard giving the children marijuana and stuff. And one of my safe places was considered the school, because like you said, at a school you send your child there. Now you got to check them because you don't know what's going on. You don't know who's touching them, who's talking to them. And the thing that scares you the most, I'll be honest with you, what scares you the most, Mayra, is, I just got to say it, is all this stuff going with the kids, with the teachers, with the SA, Yes. And with my grandchild being nonverbal, it's scary because, oh my God.
They're the perfect target for that. They are the perfect target for that. I mean, they cannot defend themselves. They cannot, tell the parents anything. They're defenseless.
But the sick thing is, people prey on that, though. That's the sick thing. It's like there's these adults out there that prey on that.
Right.
And I think it's like, so how do you feel as far as like the education system? What do you think that we can do better to make it to where it is more disabled friendly or disorderly friendly or more autistic friendly? What are some of the suggestions you think we should have that should be brought up at like parents meetings and parents council and stuff? What do you think?
Right. Honestly, I think number one, like you have mentioned, it's the training. The training. You cannot just, like I said before too, you can't just put someone, to care for these children and not knowing anything about the autism spectrum disorder or just any other disability. They should learn as much as they can. Another thing that I had thought about too, is unfortunately, it has to go there, but cameras in the classroom.
Good point. Good. That idea there is great. I like that.
Yeah. That, and I think overall as parents, just unfortunately there's a lot of parents who really don't care, and it's sad for the kids, but I think just showing up, showing that you advocate for your child, that you're there for them, that you're protect them and all this stuff, that shows the teachers that you really care. So as sad as that is, I feel like that helps.
It does. And the thing you said, it's crazy you said that, because like when we had our meeting with the new director at the school that my child was attending, now we pulled her, she goes just for therapy. Right. It was a notation made about me. People noticed that some of the parents would come in there and drop their kids off, go in the door, out the door. Then they would notice that when I went in, I'd be in there for 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's because coming from being a preschool teacher earlier, coming from being an abused child, coming from having a situation to where there were special needs kids around me when I always worked in these areas. And if you know me, if you've ever been into my job, I treat kids so special at my job. I'm just like, if you ever get to meet me, I'm one of the friendliest guys you ever meet. Now, some people say I look kind of intimidating because if you ever meet me up front, I'm kind of a built-up guy. And a lot of people say that's kind of intimidating. But I love kids. Kids love me. I'm just like the friendliest soul you ever meet. And so when I deal with people that work with children, I try to get to know and understand the minds of the person that's working with these children. Because if I'm going to drop my child off with you, I got to know a little something about you. I ain't got to know your business, but I listen to things. Do you have children yourself? Have you ever been around a special needs child? I mean, are you with children more than just at school? Are you a grandparent? It's like these things, it's like you seriously now, Mayra, have to do a interview with people
Right.
that you drop your kids off to.
Yeah.
Like even babysitting, like me, like I haven't been out in 3 years because my granddaughter has these meltdowns, and everybody's not going to babysit your child the same. That is one thing too, Myra, I would like to bring up and speak with you about. Uh, how has that impacted your relationship status? I don't know exactly if you're single, married, whatever. I'm not. I don't really because I don't dig into people's information like that. I'll let you guys. I'll let you tell. But
Okay.
as far as like going places or having outings or going on dates, just two-part question. How do
Yeah.
you how do you live your single life without always having your child impact you? And also, how do you handle outings with your child with you?
Okay. Well, I am actually married, and dates are pretty much non-existent. Um, the only person who has kind of learned how to, not deal, but take care of my son good is my mother-in-law. And that's very rare. My husband and I pretty much tired from work all the time, so we really don't go out too much anyways. But like I said, it's rare. But we try to do it as much as we can. We work our way around that, doing stuff at home versus going out. As far as, taking my son out, I have learned throughout the years his likes, his dislikes. I just make sure I have to carry a bunch of things with me. Sometimes, my husband says that we don't need it, but we end up using it anyways. I have this backpack I carry with me everywhere. It's got all the essentials to him. If he gets overwhelmed, if he's having a meltdown, the noise canceling headphones. My son loves playing with phone cords. I make sure I have a pack of them in the car.
That is
In my
wait
backpack.
one second. That is his stem. So that's his stem.
Yes,
His stem is phone
yes,
cords.
yes.
Oh my goodness. That is
Yeah,
oh
that is
yes.
crazy. Yeah, we lose those all the time. He grabs mine. I feel bad. I end up giving it to him. I'm like, okay, just keep it. So basically, yeah, I just make sure I carry everything with me. Like you said, there's no manual. I have learned throughout the years to understand what it is that he likes and doesn't like. So I just try to make him feel comfortable wherever we go. And that, pretty much me carrying a bunch of stuff with me everywhere.
And Myra, that is good parenting. That is awesome parenting because
Thank you.
it takes a special parent
Right.
to work with. I mean, and that's like, and right now, like I said, I've been saying disabled children, but I'm gonna just break it down just to autism because I don't know exactly much about other disabled children, but I know
Disabilities.
working with
Right.
autism child like my granddaughter, her
Hmm.
stem is loops. Like
Okay.
she'll take my bands and put in the loop. She'll take my belt, put in the loop. That's her thing. It's weird because they go through stages. When she first started to walk, her thing was kicking. So she would get up
Hmm.
every morning and kick a little stuffed doll or soccer ball for like a year
Oh,
straight. She would kick it around the house every morning for like an hour.
right.
And then she went from that to she would put everything in loops. So like I have my workout bands. I had to give her one because she would come in here and throw a fit. I had to give her one. Then she went from that. Now her thing is boxes. Regardless of how big the box is, she wants to sit in it.
Right.
And if you see my
That's cute.
granddaughter, she's only 3 years old, but she stands almost 4 foot tall already. She's a
Oh, wow. She's gonna
yeah,
be tall.
yeah.
Yeah.
Her birth father is 6'5".
Oh,
So,
wow.
but she's thin. She's not the chunkiest little thing, but
Yeah.
my friends call her the giant baby. That's what they call her, the giant baby. So, but her thing is boxes. She doesn't care what kind of box it is, and then
Right.
she likes to stand on it. Like all her toys, she wants to stand on them to get closer to the TV. And so, with those things being said, I feel you. The date thing, 3 years for me. When I go places, I've got to have a bag with a snack in it,
Mhm.
diapers, different things, because you never know what she's gonna need. Also, I wanted
Right.
to ask you this too, to let people understand more about autism. Um, what was your son's? What was his? How'd I say it?
Symptoms.
His Well, no, not particular. Well, yeah, okay. The symptoms. How did you? I mean, when did you know that? When did you know that he was autistic?
Okay. Well, I never, I had heard the word autism before, but I had never really looked into what it was or anything like that. And I'll say it was about pretty much like everyone else, around 18 months, a little bit before his second birthday. He just stopped. He was starting to say a couple of words, and he just stopped out of nowhere. uh the tiptoe walking.
Oh
He would
yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, he would like be fixated on things that spin. uh the no eye contact, he wouldn't respond whenever I called his name. And actually it's crazy because a family member was the one who brought it up, and when they did that, I actually got offended. I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with my son, even though I knew deep down, having two other older kids, I knew he was a little bit different, and I just didn't want to accept it. But those were the things that kind of, I started doing some research. I started Googling things, and a lot of things matched up to what he was doing. And I finally decided, like, hey, there's something that's different here.
And see, with me, with me, the tiptoe walking, instead of saying yes, no, happy or sad, the hand clapping, regardless of what the situation was, always clapping the hands. My granddaughter would always clap. She'd be happy, she'd clap. She'd be sad, she'd clap. And then it got to the
Hmm.
point where we put shows on, and she would watch the shows, and then certain shows she would just start crying, and then it just kept, it was like, and I found those were called meltdowns. She got to the point where she would get underneath the ceiling fan and she would just watch it for hours while it would spin.
Hmm.
Um, the um, the thing with patterns, she would start lining things up in patterns. And I told my
Yes.
wife, I said, I think our granddaughter's autistic. She goes, no. Nah. I said, no, there's something not right. I think she's autistic. You can kind of tell something's not right. And at the time that we had her, because we got her when she was 2.5 months old, she was born.
Oh, she was a
She was,
baby. Yeah.
yeah, she was premature. She was
Okay.
born to a couple of parents that wasn't living the cleanest lifestyle.
Okay.
She had COVID and RSV for a long time as a baby.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was in a bad situation. And then we found out about the metal thing with the baby foods, but it was too late because when they were giving her her food, all the foods that are on this list not to feed your babies, she had been eating the whole
Right.
time. So it's like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and it's like we started knowing some things were wrong. Uh, so it's like, but now, now knowing what I know, it's like, and so with that being said, we're going to my next convo, and that
Hmm.
is, if only we knew. And we're talking about this, and I'm glad we are because now we can talk about this situation with the autism because we know more. We know what it
Right.
is. And like I said, my granddaughter, like now, I had and I go back to my son, my youngest son. His name is Trevante. Trevante would go to school and would always get in trouble. The teacher say he's not paying attention, he's not listening. Same thing like my granddaughter, like you were saying about your son, my granddaughter. You call her name, she won't listen to you, doesn't make eye contact. She has meltdowns continuously. Then even at night, the night terrors and the night screams, like she have nights where she just scream and cry for no reason in the middle of the night. Messed up eating patterns, wouldn't eat certain things. One day she'd eat
Yes.
this, next day she wouldn't eat that, not wanting anything. So my son was like that. And at the time, being it was, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, I just, they just said he was just bad. They say he was just a bad
Hmm.
kid. Oh, he's a
Right.
bad kid and he don't want to listen at school, do good at school, your son. So I'm giving him spankings and stuff, thinking he's just being a bad kid. And now that I
Right.
look back, Myra, at all the things going on, I know my son was on the autistic spectrum. I know it for sure. And I never thought about it because I didn't know.
Right. Right.
And that brings me to the point. now from the CDC, they're saying now that there is a rise in autistic cases, be it children or adults. And they were trying to figure out why the cases were being on the rise. And doing research, I didn't jot down any percentage of numbers. I just didn't do that because the fact that I don't want to argue that point. That meets the point I'm trying to make.
Right.
I think now that we are more aware, have more technology, more ways of
Yes.
testing children, we have more tolerance for what's going on with kids. Because I'll say this, the child abuse movement, now I come from ethnic background, you being of
Mm-hmm.
ethnicity too as well. I don't
Yes.
know if our background is similar, but I'll explain. I came
Mm-hmm.
from a background to wherever had in the house stayed in the house. If you were a kid that was bad, you got a whooping.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, they dared you to call child. I had to call the child services. When they leave, I'll whoop you again. You know, that's the type of household I grew
Yeah.
up in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you ain't doing this, whooping. You're doing this, whooping, whooping.
Yeah.
Now, because of child abuse and because of the laws they put in, we now have to sit down and learn your child more. You have to examine why they're doing the things they're doing. Because when we were kids, you did it, you got a whooping, that was it. You
Yeah.
did this. Now there's actually studies to study on reasonings of why these kids are doing this. And so, with that
Mm-hmm.
being said, when a child has a certain behavior pattern, you get them tested.
Yes.
And after getting the test, you can see what's going on. So, with that being said, I want to know your I want to know your opinion on the rise in autism with our children in today's society.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with lack of diagnosis in the past. People that really didn't talk about it, like you said, just the whooping, and that's it. You're bad or you're good. Uh, and I feel like mainly a lot of people talking about it, but I think the internet has also helped spread more awareness to it.
Yes, yes.
Nowadays you can go on Google. Like I said, in my experience, I Googled the symptoms that my son had, and I had something to kind of match up to it. And when I was watching that report that you sent me, it said, that there was more awareness and more people in that were minorities were getting tested, and I agree with that. Highly agree with that. Being a minority myself, I feel like it's not now. It is talked a little bit more than it was back then. Uh, but I feel like that's part of it as well.
And I'm glad you said that because, like I said, I'll give you a clap on that. I am so glad you said that because I tried to make a point on here never to make things black and white. But I do let
Yeah,
people
yeah,
know we're in society, we gotta be honest. There is a difference
right.
in the cultures.
Yes,
And I'll be honest, a lot of Caucasian people, when their children have problems, they do take them to the doctor. They do get them
hmm,
tested. When you're
right.
a minority, we brown skinned people, we don't do that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't do that. We're afraid to hear. We're afraid. It's like me. I'm a man. I don't go to the doctor all the time because I don't want to hear no bad news. I don't want to hear
Hmm.
that I'm not invincible. I don't want to hear that I got this going on. I might be down. That's the same thing with us. We don't want to hear the negative things. But sometimes
Right.
you have to have negativity to gain positivity.
Positivity.
And
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
yeah, and that's something that is a big issue. And when you said that, I'm glad that you put it the way you did because that is it's like a lot the rise of the autism is in the brown skin ethnic community. It is
Hmm.
because now we're finally understanding that we've got to get these kids tested. We got to everything can't be fixed with a butt whooping. I mean, you
Yes.
got to get the kids tested. Something's not right. Test them. See what's going on. Also, too, Myra, I wanted to bring this up. Now, this might get kind of controversial with some people. So if you're listening to me, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Uh, please don't get irritated, but I have to make this statement. I had a lady come into my store, and she has an autistic grandson. She said that when she stopped letting her grandson get certain booster shots, she noticed the increase in his awareness.
Hmm.
Now, I'll be honest, I've been doing research. I don't have the exact numbers, I don't have the exact reasoning. It's just hearsay. So that's why I never
Right.
really stated. But from what I've been understanding, some of these shots the kids are getting may have an impact on some of this autism that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, I've heard about that as well.
So it's like I don't know. And it's like I'll say it like this. I tell people that there are things that can happen that people don't agree with. As far as like, okay, like let's say McDonald's. Have you ever noticed that you can have a little young skinny kid? It's metabolism. I don't believe all the time.
Hmm.
Me and a young skinny kid can go to McDonald's and I can get one Big Mac and he can get 30 cheeseburgers. I can gain 20 pounds. He won't gain not one.
Yeah.
I have told people this as well. The way some of that food, the way some of the food is, because of what's inside you, like okay, being black, we are very high risk sickle cell anemia, very high
Hmm.
risk. Now, also high blood pressure, and some other cultures might not deal with that. Like I do understand that there's other cultures that have high Parkinson's, stuff like that. Okay, well, I was telling someone is this: the way you are built, as far as inside your genome code. Some of the things that you take in, you can't do it. It might impact you different than it does someone else who doesn't have the same ailments or same gene pool you have. And I do
Right.
believe that. I believe some things are different. That's why some people can do some things, others can't. I can't drink milk. You know, I won't go there, but just don't step in the room with me after I had a glass of milk. I say it like that.
Hmm.
I can't drink milk, but I know people that can drink it all day long. They can drink
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They can drink it hot. They can drink it cold. I can't drink it. And I bring that point up to bring up this. When you have a child that has certain things in them, like autism and things like that, I believe that some of these shots should be looked into to try to make sure we're not making the situation worse than what it is.
Worse. Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean,
That and that and medications as well, because I
yes,
mean, we just don't know. There's we really have no understanding of the causes, but I'm sure a lot of it has to do, like you said, genetics, and then probably the environment and the medications we're taking. Because I remember, I would Google stuff about autism, and then here I go on Facebook and I see I don't know if you've seen these ads that say if you took Tylenol whenever you were pregnant and it had on
yes,
yeah, there you
yeah.
go. And I was like, hey, I took Tylenol whenever I was pregnant with Jalen, so could that have been it?
Yeah,
So
the beech nut food things don't feed your
yeah,
babies this. It's like,
right,
and that's the thing. It's like, it's like this awareness. You're right. The awareness is out there. We didn't have this awareness
yeah,
before. It's like now you have awareness. What is wrong? What can we do to fix it? But I think the biggest issue we have now is
hmm,
fixing the problem. That's our
yeah,
biggest issue now. We have
yeah,
all the awareness. We have the tools and keys.
hmm,
The 3 points I would like to make. One, we've got to make sure that the school budgets are fixed so that we can help benefit the teachers with better education on these disabilities, especially autism. We can't be buying $1 million. We can't be buying a $200,000 gym for basketball. Now I understand that stuff's important,
hmm,
but we'll spend $200,000 to reform the basketball team and the gym and build a new baseball diamond. But we can't spend $100,000 on teaching, getting teachers what they need and bringing in programs to help these children. What is wrong with that?
yeah. I agree with that.
Second point, we've got to make sure that also too something that needs to happen. I've spoken of it before with Miss Miriam when she was on my show. A person's psychological profile and their personal profile is two different things. We have people that come in with a personal profile that is squeaky clean and amazing, but then their psychological profile is not the same, and we're putting them in place to watch over our children. That is an issue.
Yeah.
We've got to fix that. That is another thing that has to be fixed. Third thing, we've got to have better parent-teacher relations. It is too many parents just dropping their kids off, not getting to know the teacher, not getting to know the school system. A lot of teachers, a lot of parents don't even go to the board meeting. The school, they have, I told someone, if you want to know what's going on in your government, go to a town hall meeting. Go to the Congress building. They have these meetings all the time. Some cities have them once a week, if not twice. And you sit here and we miss out on so many things. Go to the student teacher meetings. Go to the PTA meetings. Go to the gatherings where there's parents and teachers and things like that. You've got to start doing this, people. We have got to fix our education system all around anyway, but especially when it comes to our autistic children. There are too many nonverbal children out here that are getting what they need. My thing is this, Mayra. I'm not saying it's a knock because I know some people don't. Like my granddaughter, she just stopped taking a bottle at 2.5. Mm-hmm. She just started eating with a fork. She still can't use a spoon all the way. She's 3. She still isn't potty trained all the way. Because you're dealing with an autistic child, they do not do things the same way everybody else does. My granddaughter has an IDEA program now she's entering. And when we got her tested, they said that she's 3, but she still has a 2-year-old mentality, meaning her brain process is not processing correctly.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that these kids are trying to function, but they function to the best of life. You can hear in the background now, like she does. You can hear in the background now.
Yeah, I can hear her.
Yeah, she's a daddy's baby. And that's the thing is like, if I'm not around, she's like, and that's one thing too about autistic children. They have their favorite person. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And she's a daddy's baby. She loves daddy. She's always daddy, daddy, daddy. That is her thing. It's like if I'm not around her, she throws a fit. She goes into one. But I think we have got to fix the teacher-parent relations. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
So before I leave, I will give you an open floor. I'll give you 10 minutes here. I want you to speak on some events coming up for special needs children, autistic children. I would like for you to basically give a little statement about how you feel about being a parent with a child with autism, and also give a word of encouragement to these parents out here that's like they're on their last leg and are ready to give up. Give them a word of wisdom or a word of encouragement if you can.
Sure. First of all, you guys go follow the Arkansas Autism Foundation Facebook page. That's where they will post all of the events that are coming up. If you're an autistic parent, I feel you. You're not alone. You know, it's hard. It's hard. I get it. I'm there. You know, it's a tough job. It's a tough job. If you feel overwhelmed, you know, just take a deep breath, keep going, join support groups. You know, there's a lot of Facebook groups that you can join where it's just parents, you know, attend autism events, you know, get to meet other parents that are in the same situation as you. And that's on my end. I feel like the very first time that I went to the Arkansas Autism Foundation, has this walk every year in April for Autism Awareness Month. The very first time I went, I had never felt like, not like an outsider, I guess, because I felt like I was around other people who could understand me. And, you know, we were going through the same thing. So just keep going. Try to attend all these events with other people who will understand what you're going through. And one thing that I will say on my experience is just yes, we are parents, but don't let your whole focus go on that. Like, you have to think about yourself, because you cannot be a good parent if you don't take care of yourself first. I think that's a big thing right there.
Mayra, well said. I enjoyed having you on today. I will ask you, if you don't mind, I would love to have you on again. I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, sure.
You did an amazing job. Okay, you guys, I will tell you this. We had a bump in the road to get it started. I was having problems with the audio. As you see, I came on. My camera was it was a lot of things going against us, but we worked it out. Mayra was kind of scared to get on today. I'll be honest.
I was very nervous.
Yes, but we worked through it. She's a very sweet lady. Her son is an awesome young man. Mayra, what I need you to do, if possible, and you get a chance, would you please share those links on my page for some of the
Yeah,
things
sure.
like the upcoming event,
Okay.
those noise counseling,
The
earbuds,
headphones. Oh yeah, for
earphones.
sure. Yeah.
Also, the society you're talking about. If you can't put those links
Okay.
up on my page, it'll be so awesome. I think
Yes.
people will love it. You guys,
Yeah, you know what? One thing, a lot of people have not heard about the Arkansas Autism Foundation or the walk that they do every year, and that walk is big. Like I think this year there was a little bit over 1,000 people who attended it, and they hosted at the War Memorial Stadium by the Little Rock Zoo. I don't know if you've been there before,
no, I
but
haven't, but
yeah, it's a big place. That stadium is really big. It's really nice. I mean, my family and I look forward to it every year. But I mean, apart from that, they do host a lot of events. There's one. Hang on, let me see the date. They are going to have a sensory-friendly hours at the Museum of Discovery,
and that is
and
this
that has
weekend,
taken
correct?
July 28th.
July 28th. Okay.
Yeah, next month. Next month, and there's a couple of other events that they'll be doing as well, and I'll make sure to post them and send them to you as well. You know, if you want to share them on your Facebook profile. But yeah, you just attend all the events that you can. You know, learn as much as you can. I know it's not easy. Everything I have learned about my son, that's the thing. You can't go to your doctor and say like, hey, is my son going to speak someday? Is my son going to be able to live on his own? Is he going to get married one day? Everything that I have learned it pretty much on my own, I guess. As he gets older, I get to know him more. He gets to know me, and it's a process, but it's definitely worth it. My son is nonverbal, but he has his way of showing that he loves me, and I know that he loves me. So,
That is awesome. You are I give you applause. I'm going to give you a cheer. You are an amazing mother. You are a
thank you.
soldier and a warrior. You are amazing. So I appreciate that. Well, you guys, I want to say thank you once again to Mayra Diaz. You guys can follow her. There'll be a link on my page for some stuff that she's putting there. I want to thank y'all, everybody that followed me today on at YouTube at Motivational Muscle 74 and also on Facebook at Ontario Hill. I appreciate you guys, man. This is awesome. You know, I do shows like this every blue moon, and I tell you, I don't have to have all the views. I don't have to have all the looks. It is not the quantity with me. It's always the quality. And a show like this, I take it to heart. It's so special to get to meet people that are dealing with what I'm dealing with. And I think it's awesome that we had this moment to talk. So once again, before I let you go, I'm going to give you an applause here again. And thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
joining the
much.
show
Thank
today,
you for
Myra.
having me.
And no problem. You have a great day, and I will be in contact with you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, you guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was Mayra Diaz. She is an awesome lady. I met her at my job. She came with her son. Y'all, I'm really about this. I'm really about this movement about helping these children. We've got to help our kids out here, man, especially special needs children. They're thrown to the wayside. People are doing everything to evolve and push and elevate everything else. Let's elevate our kids. Let's elevate our young kids, especially our special needs kids. They need it. They need it. Well, with that being said, y'all, you know what time it is. You guys, I know y'all see me. I'm on Fridays as well. I got news for you. This will be my last podcast on Facebook. So, you guys, it's been fun, but I've had too many moments to where I've been banned on Facebook. And if you know me, I don't really do anything but try to do the best I can with comedy. So from here on out, I'll be YouTube exclusive, focusing on that. I will get going on Spreaker again, which is a podcast network I used to belong to. So I want to tell you guys, anybody that follows me on Facebook at Ontario Hill, I wish you a bye-bye, arrivederci, ciao bella. You guys have been awesome. I love you guys. I appreciate you as fans. You guys have been amazing, but this is my last podcast on Facebook. I will be YouTube exclusive, so I appreciate you guys for everything you guys have done. Like I said, Mayra Diaz is an awesome guest. I want to send a shout out to all those who have been in my corner from day one. Y'all know it's a rocky road. It's a journey we've been on, but we're going to make it. We've been here before, and we're going to continue to stay here. With that being said, much love to all of y'all. I'd like to thank you for everything that you guys have did, all the work y'all put in to help me. And I want to say I want y'all to have a good night and peace.
Also envision my path so I complete the mission. Yeah, I'll never rest regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, I'll say it